Hi, it's Dr. Tiffany. I hope you're doing well. Today's vlog is on the topic of how trauma impacts the human mind. So we ask ourselves the first question, what exactly is a traumatic event? Well, a traumatic event is a situation or circumstance that elicits our fight or flight experience, the fight or flight reaction, otherwise known as fear. Oftentimes, these situations can threaten our lives or our personal integrity. During these events, we feel completely out of control. How does our brain process those events? Well, our brain is like a computer. It has to file everything away. Our brain has a template for what we do when we go to the movies, what we do when we go to church, what we do when we go to school, what we do when we go to the doctor's office. It has a template for everything. It wants to make sense of everything. When we have a traumatic experience or life event, our brain doesn't have a template for it because it's not something that traditionally happens to us on a regular basis. At least I hope it's not the case, because that would be extremely tragic if that were. So when a traumatic event happens, we kind of hold on to it. The brain doesn't know where to file it. It's really, really confused. Where do I go? It doesn't fit here. Nope, it doesn't fit here. Nope, it doesn't fit here. That's oftentimes why we have nightmares, because during our REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep, that's when the brain processes things. It tries to put things in the proper filing cabinet, in the proper template, but it doesn't know where to put it. So it pops up, and then we start having nightmares about the traumatic event over and over again because the brain's trying to file it, but it doesn't know where to put it. The problem with sleep is that when this is happening, we're not aware. It's happening while we're unconscious. So essentially, one of the hallmark traits of post-traumatic stress is avoidance. We don't like thinking about the topic. That's why at night in our sleep, we're not aware of it. But during the day, we try to avoid it. And we don't want to think about it because it makes us feel uncomfortable. It's not something that we want to sit with. But eventually in time, we're going to have to process that traumatic event, to file it away, to create our own template for it so we can make meaning of it so it no longer continues to pop itself up over and over and over again. Traumatic events are filed in the limbic system, more specifically the amygdala. That is the fear center of the brain. When we have a trauma stuck in there that hasn't been processed or digested, we're taking up a big portion of that limbic system. One of the side effects of that is feeling emotionally detached, disconnected, oftentimes disconnected from our loved ones. So, the idea is when we do have a traumatic experience is to create a template, to create a filing folder. Our brain is kind of like our stomach. Our stomach digests food, right? The nutrients go where it needs to go, and then we get rid of the rest. You get the point. In the same way, our brain has to digest experiences, files it away. But if it's a traumatic one, we get stuck. And if we don't decide in time to address it, it gets worse. It's almost like a snowball that turns into a snowman that then eventually in time turns into an avalanche. So it's important to work through our traumas, to process them, to make meaning of them. Often in traumatic events, it's not just the fear of the experience, but the thoughts that keep us stuck. The should-haves, the could-haves, the would-haves. Had I done this? Had I done that? Oftentimes when people experience traumatic events, there's a lot of self-blame. I should have known better. I shouldn't have put myself in that situation or circumstance. But the issue is we never had a crystal ball to predict the future. And if we had a crystal ball to predict the future, obviously we wouldn't have done that, right? So we have to oftentimes make peace with those traumatic events. I'm going to save how we make peace with traumatic events for another vlog, because we're going to talk a lot about exposure therapy, a lot of the evidence-based practice that our psychotherapists use to help people heal from traumatic experiences. All right, well, I hope this video makes sense. I felt like I was kind of tangential and all over the place. If you have questions, please leave the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. I hope you have a blessed day, and be good to each other.